So we have been talking about comfort displays and discomfort displays involving the face and the neck, and as well as the shoulders. Now, what about confidence? How do we demonstrate confidence? Well, one of the ways that we demonstrate confidence is by being broad and territorial. Our shoulders are out. Our chest is out. You certainly see this with for instance, other mammals, where they puff their chest out, where they demonstrate, as the silverback does, I'm in charge here. They become visually territorial. When we show discomfort, is we become smaller. We tend to withdraw. Our shoulders withdraw. I'll give you an example. The clinically depressed person doesn't stand tall. The clinically depressed person doesn't have broad shoulders. In fact, they're collapsing on themselves. And this is something that psychiatrists are looking at, is how do they present? High confidence. So we show confidence by our posture. We show confidence by our demeanor. We show confidence, for instance, by what are known as gravity-defying behaviors. These are behaviors that defy gravity. So I emphasize by bouncing slightly up, by arching my eyebrows. What a difference. What a difference when you greet someone, you say, hi, nice to meet you, versus hi, nice to meet you. It's really great to see you here, and you have defied gravity. This emphasis that we show, this confidence that we show, is confidence in what we actually feel. Universally, across the world, the most powerful display of confidence that we have is the steeple. And we see this everywhere. This has been studied. And steepling is the best way we have of letting each other know that what we're thinking about, we're confident about. Now, we could be wrong, but we're confident. We're confident, and we usually demonstrate it by bringing our fingertips together and spreading the fingers way wide. Now, one of the problems we have here in America is that women tend to steeple low, and they tend to steeple with their fingers together, which reduces the footprint, the visual footprint of the steeple. And so one of the things that I teach young executives is, when you're confident about what you're talking about or what you're thinking about, make sure that you steeple high, that it's visual, that other people see it, because subconsciously you're letting them know, I really know what I'm talking about. And it sends a very, very powerful message. Anything less than this, whether it's a modified steeple as you see here, or where it's one where the fingers are together, or it's low, or it's under the table, just simply does not send the same message as when it's at chest level. And this is one that you want to work on. And if you haven't perfected this, if it's not part of your repertoire, you need to build it into your repertoire. And I've dealt with several female CEOs who have had to retrain themselves because they're sitting in meetings, they're very confident about what they're talking about, but their hands are under the table. And that's not where they should be. They should be on top, demonstrating confidence. Now, one of the other things that we do when we're confident is we tend to show our thumbs. These are called thumb displays. And you've probably seen this in photographs of people that have been taken for promotional material. I remember years ago, there are a lot of the business cards that real estate agents were using. Their photograph was taken and one hand was here and the thumb was sticking up. And they probably didn't even know why they were doing this. And the reason for this was, this is a sign of confidence. It's a high confidence display. And sometimes you see it in the courtroom, or you see it in the boardroom. Somebody's walking around with their hands like this on their lapel or their suspenders and so forth. Where you usually see it, where you usually mostly see it, is in a meeting where people are standing or sitting down on the table, and as they're discussing a subject, their thumbs will either come down and disappear or rise up. The rising of the thumb is confidence. I'm confident about what I'm talking about. Yes, the project got done. No, I'm not sure we can get that done. And you see the thumb literally hide. This is done subconsciously, but it's a very powerful indicator of what's truly going on inside the mind. And that is that I'm confident here, less confident here. Something that we don't see too much in the United States, we certainly see it in Europe, is when we show confidence, our nose tends to be up and our chin out, and then we tuck our chin in when we are less confident. One of the things that you will see as people are talking about a particular subject or a particular event, the more confident or elated they are with it, the more their chin and nose go out, the less so they are, the more they tuck the chin in. This is extremely accurate. This is actually very limbic, because the limbic brain is not going to allow you to expose your chin and your nose to something that is threatening to you. So we've been talking about high confidence displays, the thumbs in particular, the steepling, the chin high, and so forth, but also our speech. When we speak and our tone goes higher, it's indicative of distress, it's indicative of lack of confidence, so we want to make sure that we maintain a nice, steady communication flow, that we're not, our voice isn't going up and changing and so forth, and we want a steady gaze from our eyes. Eyes that are fleeting, moving around all the time, are very disruptive, and it's not that they have anything to do with deception. It's that we will actually track them, and they are communicating to us that something is wrong. So when we're confident about a particular subject, what we want to do is maintain good eye contact, even as we deliver the message. And speaking of that, I want to next talk about territory, because when it comes to territory, this is one area where confidence is demonstrated in how we use our territory, our control of territory. One of the things that we as a species do is we assess for hierarchy. And we accord people of higher status more room. This is so universal, this is so hardwired in our brains that when the conquistadores arrived in the New World, the nonverbals of space and even attire that they saw with the court in the Nuevo Mexico, in the New World, were the same that they had seen in Isabella's court. The person that was king was entitled to more space, they sat higher, their clothing was more elaborate, they had more plumage. All these things they had previously seen, 6 months earlier in Europe. Now, how is that? It's because it's hardwired in us. So we know to assess for nonverbal behaviors of status. We know to assess for nonverbals of territory. And we show our confidence by how we control this territory. And one of the ways that we do that is with our eyes. The person who is confident is not afraid to look around. They're not afraid to look straight at you. They're not afraid to talk to you and look away, because you are not a threat to them. They're confident in what they're saying. And a lot of people associate looking away with deception. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that I'm so confident that I feel comfortable looking away even as I'm talking to you or a friend. I don't have to talk to you. But certainly, when you're making a presentation, you want to make good eye contact, because this, in fact, is a territorial display. Now, if you're a younger person in an organization, you want to limit where you look, because you're really only entitled to be focused on the person making a presentation or the person that's interviewing you. You're really not entitled to be looking around where your eyes are sort of flitting about. So we look at territorial displays to let us know the person is confident. And obviously we want to use territorial displays to establish that we are in control, that we are confident. And what size that footprint looks like will determine how we are perceived, merely by where we put objects, how we drape our arms across the tables and the chairs and the deaths and so forth. So we want to look at these things because they are very powerful messages that we send. We also want to look when these things disappear, when we begin to withdraw. This is indicative of lacking in confidence. And it can be very simple as, we start out by putting the glass we're drinking from way far away from us. This is a territorial claim, and then we begin to withdraw it as things get worse. Or we don't see the emphasis that we saw earlier. So these territorial displays, gravity-defying behaviors, all very significant in showing how confident we are. When we lack confidence, we begin to demonstrate behaviors that are very meek. We don't stand as tall. We don't show as much of our ventral side. We tend to turn away. We tend to look smaller. Our shoulders begin to collapse, or and our posture changes, or our shoulders will come up, as we said earlier, towards the ears. So we have this, what's called the turtle effect. We are, in effect, hiding, and we don't emphasize as much. Our hand gestures are not as much outward, nor are they as elevated. We tend to use less hand gestures, to the point where the person who's truly lacking confidence begins to hide his or her hands, or begins to restrict their movement. And so we associate hand movement, arm movement, and so forth with confidence, and as these begin to withdraw, less and less confidence. In an organization, both your immediate supervisors and upper management is going to be looking at you. And the question for you is, how do I want to be seen? Well, obviously you don't want to be the peacock in the organization that's always flaunting what you're doing, or flaunting what you've achieved, or bragging about the things that you've done. If you're working hard, people are going to notice. They will absolutely notice. You don't have to send up skyrockets and say, hey, look at me. Hard workers will be recognized. At the same time, if the situation arises, you should never hesitate to say, yes, I got this work done. If you're dealing with employees all the time, as I do, nothing resonates better than to just hear 3 words: I'm on it. And that's all you have to say. Somebody says, hey, did this get done? Did that get done? Don't sit there and go into this long explanation of what's going to be done or why isn't it done and so forth. Just say, I'm on it. And I, as an employer, can walk away with a sigh of relief and say, you know what? That's exactly what I want to hear. And that's the kind of attitude that we want to see. That's the kind of attitude that an employer wants to see, is if the job isn't done, it's going to get done. I'm on it. And I'm working hard, and if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to ask questions. But I'm not going to wait until things fall apart before I begin to ask about it. So there's nothing wrong with not knowing. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with clarification. The worst things that you can do is being too much of a showboat. You don't want to come across as the person that constantly needs to be recognized. If you're doing your job, you will be recognized. Humility goes a long way. Arrogance will undermine you each and every time.